All right, so now we're at the fun part where we're gonna get our corners ready, turn this and stuff it. Now, if I just turn my corners like this, you can see how thick that is and how much bulk would be in the corner. So what I'm gonna do is trim across each of these corners. I wanna make sure that I don't cut into my stitching. So about there. And I come
Very
around.
close, but it's not.
Yeah, it is very close, but now, again, if by mistake you cut into there, you're just going to go back to your machine and you don't even have to back stitch. You just overlap and restitch. So it can be fixed. Okay, now I'm going to show you my trick for turning a beautiful corner. I put my thumb right in the pillow, the index finger of the same hand out here. Fold this, pinch that tightly between your thumb and your index finger, and you can turn a really beautiful corner. Now, say it doesn't turn beautifully for you because, you know, what I just made look easy takes some practice. Take a chopstick or a wooden knitting needle and put that right in the corner and gently turn it a little sharper. You don't want to be tempted to take a pin and pull from the outside because usually what will happen is you'll blow the corner apart and then you really have to do some restitching. So now I'm going to go through and turn my other three corners. And if you have kids at home who are too young to run the sewing machine, you could get it set up and have them help you stuff it, which is really fun. You could also have them stitch this by hand. It's a great way, early way to learn some hand sewing skills. Okay, we got all of our corners. And now we bring this to the outside. Okay. And I kind of finger press this out nice and flat. Okay. Now when you stuff, it's important to stuff your...
I have a quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I see a little bit of wrinkle here. It's got some kind of linen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Got a little wrinkle. Would you bother ironing it a little, pressing it, or do you think the stuffing is gonna?
I probably wouldn't at this point. After I get it stuffed, I could steam over it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I think I will just wrinkle it back up again.
Okay. While you're stuffing it.
Good question though. Okay. So I'm going to take like not huge handfuls, a good size handful of stuffing. Okay. And I'm going to press this into each corner first. If you stuff the middle of your pillow first, then it's really hard to go back and get your corners nice. And there's another place where a chopstick can come in handy, or a wooden knitting needle. You can really work this nicely into your corners. Okay, so they start out nice and tightly stuffed.
And sometimes it feels like you got too much, but you squeeze it into the pillow and it dissipates fairly quickly, doesn't it?
Yeah, I usually encourage people to almost overstuff because it will settle pretty quickly, your stuffing. We have a lot of polyfill that's been donated. If you don't like using synthetics, you can get cotton fill, or wool makes a really nice fill. Some people will use, can use feathers if your covering is tightly woven enough. For advanced pillow making, I recommend, or for larger pillows, I recommend learning to put a zipper in so that you can unzip it, and then you can remove the pillow form and wash it. Yeah. So now we've got our corners nicely stuffed, and we're going to work into our edges and then toward the center. And then we'll talk about how we finish off that last little piece. I made this hole kind of small. It's because I'm lazy about that last little bit of stitching.
It's easier to stitch a smaller hole together at the end,
That's
right?
true.
But you got to work at it earlier to stuff it.
Yeah. And I'm liking how these two fabrics work together.
It's looking really pretty. Beautiful pillow.
And it's been fun in the shop to see all the different ways people combine textures and fabrics and shapes. There's no reason not to make a beautiful rectangle, heart-shaped pillow, really any shape you want. Round pillows. And then you can just get much more sophisticated from there. But this is just a really great introduction to sewing.
Yeah, it is interesting to see two fabrics that don't look like much and then they go together on either side of a pillow and the pillow looks great. It's a very elegant looking pillow.
There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to put this in, then I'm going to kind of test it. And I think that's really, well, I'm going to put a little more in this edge here. And again, I'm using my chopstick to kind of budge things around. And you can see I got a little hollow spot here I'm going to fill.
Yeah, near the end is always where it gets a little hollow because you've been pushing it in, right?
Yep.
And there's the...
And I think we're good.
Okay.
So now
it's really nice.
Yeah. Now I have a choice of whether I'm going to top stitch it at the machine or hand stitch it. So I'm actually going to show you both things.